Okay, so we've created quite quickly 3 distinct regions of our painting. Now for the foreground, let's grab, a much larger amount of the ultramarine blue compared to previously. We'll grab a reasonable amount of the cad yellow as well. And again, I'm just going to take a little corner colour. I'm going to grab some of the tinting white and opposite corner a little touch of the crimson. And I haven't mixed that paint too thoroughly at all, but it's rather thicker than the paint I've put on before. So let's see what effects we get as we kind of circle the brush here. So this is going to hopefully create a random mixture of colour and texture. Let's just get some more paint on my brush so that something approximating some undergrowth, perhaps some long grass, or whatever the plants are, ferns, whatever this animal's wandering through. But with a combination of different colours, a different thickness of paint, and just varying the way I move the brush across the paper, my hope is hopefully I think we have created 4 distinct areas of the painting fairly efficiently. Now, it's looking a little bit even in terms of the level there, which I guess may well be quite realistic. Things tend to grow to roughly the same height, but let's just lift up this side. We've got a lower level in the background, so we'll just lift up that left side of the painting there. So now it's time to finally work on our sheep. So I've switched to a 1/2 inch flat brush, grabbing some of the tinting white again, mixing in a little bit of the cad yellow and a little bit of the napthol crimson, a little bit of the burnt umber, a bit more of the yellow. Oops, that was that was way too much yellow. Okay, so let's get loads more white. And there may not be enough white on the palette to give me what I want, but okay. We'll get a little bit, just a touch more red in there. Touch more of the brown, the burnt umber. And okay, that's going to be it's not ideal, but it's going to be a reasonable base colour for the lighter parts of the fleece. Now, once again, I'm going to gently spray the painting with water, but the paint I'm putting down now is going to be much thicker than anything I've put down on the painting so far. So keeping in mind the way the wool is falling around the animal's body without getting too concerned about any detail, just going to sweep in some of this pale yellow colour. And the idea here is to provide an off-white base colour onto which I can add shadows or highlights later on. Now, although it's completely non-representative of the animal, I'm actually quite tempted to leave this bit of watercolour marker here on the back where the watercolour marker's bled, and I think I'm going to do that for now. So we'll leave that, and we'll see if we like it towards the end of the painting. So I'm still looking at my reference as I do this. Obviously the drawing I've put down so far gives me a certain amount of framework to work with. I've also got some nice texture created there by the watercolor marker, so I'm going to leave a bit of that showing as well. So although I am, as I said, referring to the reference, I'm not going to be restricted by it. If there's something there that I think is going to work already on the paper, then I like to go with that kind of random event if I feel it's going to work for the image as a whole. Now equally, these forelegs are in a certain amount of shadow just from the background I created, but they probably could do with changing color a little bit from the background. And in fact, part of this leg's going to be quite dark, so we'll leave that for now. Got another lovely bit of texture here, so I'm going to leave some of that showing as well. And I'm fairly happy so far with my drawing of, it's not an exact replica of the animal in the reference, but it's not too bad in terms of the shape of the body. The head, though, I think does need a bit of work, so we'll try and correct that now. In fact, I'm not so sure it's the head. I just think that ear needs to lift up a little bit, but let's get the head patched in with this lighter color. Now for the darker patches of the animal, before I get into any subtle shadows anywhere else, I'm going to mix up a purple with the crimson and a little bit of the ultramarine blue. And obviously purple is complementary to yellow, so I'm hoping that this is going to, just grabbing some more blue, make for an interesting color combo. It's difficult to see this purple on the black palette, but we'll stick with the same brush, and I'll use this to start to describe some of the darker parts of the animal. So let's see if I can fix this ear. So I think it's coming out a little bit further and needs to be a little touch higher. Maybe come down a little lower than I've currently got it. And then there is the first of the badger stripes, if you like. Then we've got this other one over here. And then just grab a bit more paint. We've got the other ear. On our left.